You already know it is the CC takeover. Took over the Annika Pro-Am today. Shut it down. Operation Shut Down. We are talking about thousands of people lined up to watch her play golf. This looked like...
Okay, this is wild. You won't believe this. But at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, hundreds, maybe even thousands of fans showed up at 8:30 in the morning not for basketball but to watch Caitlin Clark play golf. They were decked out in fever jerseys, waving signs, treating it like a playoff game. The WNBA season ended months ago, yet somehow Caitlin playing in a celebrity golf tournament is pulling in more attention than some actual games did. Seriously, think about that.
Claire, am I embracing this Caitlin Clark madness, or am I a little upset that the biggest star on the property plays a different sport?
Okay, let's reframe this a little bit. Biggest sports star in professional basketball that wants to play in a PGA Tour Pro-Am. Do you think the PGA Tour guys are upset that they're taking away spotlight from them? No, I think they're excited that the best athlete in the world is engaged in the game of golf. And I think the women think no differently. You've got the best or the most prominent women's sports star.
So, have you ever woken up super early just to watch an athlete do something completely unrelated to their main sport? Let me know your craziest stories down in the comments below.
It looked like she was going against the New York Liberty out there, and she was about to hit 3 threes in 28 seconds or something like that. That is what the crowd looked like. I'm telling you, I've said it over and over. We have not seen a woman this transcended in sports. She had the golf world lit up.
All right, so Caitlin Clark was at this celebrity golf tournament, and the turnout was absolutely insane. I'm talking hundreds, possibly over 1,000, people rolling out of bed super early just to watch her tee off at 8:30 a.m. on a weekday. And get this, more than half of them were rocking Indiana Fever jerseys. Seriously, let that sink in for a second.
And last up, Caitlin Clark. Woo! Woo! Have fun. Enjoy. Play well.
This wasn't some high-stakes WNBA game. No playoff showdown, no championship finals. This was just a celebrity golf event where Caitlin was playing alongside actual pro golfers, with her teammates Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull even acting as her caddies. Yet people showed up like it was the most important sporting event of the entire year.
It was the most important sporting event of the entire year.
Last up, Caitlin Clark.
What really blew everyone's minds was the sheer size of the crowd. Golf tournaments, especially the celebrity ones, don't usually draw huge numbers, especially not at the crack of dawn. But here's the kicker. Caitlin isn't your typical celebrity. She's the phenom who shattered viewership records, sold out arenas, and basically got the entire world talking about women's basketball. And guess what? That star power transfers to the golf course too.
Up there. Up there.
Now, having Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull there caddying for Caitlin added another wild layer to the entire event. Seeing Indiana Fever players in Fever gear caddying for their teammate at a golf tournament. It's surreal, right? Both Sophie and Lexi are technically free agents right now, but honestly, the Fever would be absolutely crazy to let either of them walk. To replace what they bring, the team would have to spend serious max money, and most teams simply aren't willing to pay that for role players. The fact that so many fans showed up wearing Fever jerseys for a golf tournament proves how deeply invested people are in this team, and especially in Caitlin. These aren't casual fans who just happen to be nearby. No, these are diehards who woke up early, drove long distances, and stood around a golf course just to watch Caitlin hit a few shots. That, my friends, is pure dedication. And let's talk about that tee shot itself. It was actually pretty challenging. We're not talking about an easy tap-in over flat ground. If she hit it, that ball was going straight into the water. Luckily, she cleared it, because the last thing anybody needed was Caitlin launching a golf ball into a hazard in front of hundreds of eager fans. Even in golf, the pressure in that moment was definitely real. What made things even crazier was how some people were analyzing the way Caitlin teed up the ball, trying to diagnose whether she was hurt or nervous. Come on, that's ridiculous. People are so desperate for updates about her health that they're breaking down her tee-up form like it's medical evidence. That's not how injuries work. If she were hurt badly enough for a golf tee-up to be affected, she wouldn't be playing at all. And yes, there were whispers about her hamstring and possible training issues. Here's the real talk. If Caitlin Clark gets injured again while training with Indiana's staff, it's going to be a massive problem. We just went through that disaster last offseason, and if it happens again, fans will absolutely lose their minds. The fact that the Fever even allowed her to participate in a golf tournament strongly suggests she's healthy. Teams do not let their franchise players take part in anything remotely risky unless they're fully confident there's no major issue. So those hamstring rumors, probably way overblown. But given the Fever's shaky track record with training and injuries, you can't blame fans for being worried. The crowd's energy throughout the event was electric. People were cheering, taking photos, chanting, and treating the whole thing like a major sporting moment. Because for them, it was. Caitlin hasn't played in front of fans for about 4 months. The WNBA season ended in September, and this is November. For someone who played year-round between college and the pros, an 8-month offseason is extremely unusual. And for fans who got used to seeing her non-stop, 4 months without her feels like forever. The timing of this event is interesting because we're right in the middle of the WNBA offseason, usually a dead period. Most players are resting, training, or just living their lives completely out of the spotlight. But Caitlin playing golf. That instantly becomes a headline because fans are starved for content. The league is quiet, and people are desperate for anything related to their favorite players. Compared to last year, the difference is striking. A year ago, anything involving Caitlin was massive news. If this golf tournament had happened then, the hype would have been even bigger. The crowd would have been larger, media coverage more intense, social media absolutely exploding. The fact that the buzz is calmer now shows how quickly momentum can fade when nothing is happening for months. And honestly, this is a real problem for the WNBA. Last season, the league had unprecedented attention almost entirely because of Caitlin. Ratings skyrocketed, attendance broke records, merch sales went crazy. But now in the off-season, there's been almost nothing to keep that momentum alive. No major announcements, no consistent marketing, no storylines to hook casual fans. And casual fans are the ones who drift away the fastest when there's nothing to hold their interest. A possible lockout makes things even worse. If the season gets delayed, or, in the worst case, canceled, Caitlin could go years without playing competitive basketball. From September 2024 to potentially March 2027, that's a brutal gap. Her brand would absolutely take a hit. Anyone saying she'd be totally fine regardless is being unrealistic. Athletes stay relevant by playing. You can't disappear for 3 years and expect the world to wait for you. Sure, her die-hard fans will stick around, but the mainstream casual audience, the millions who discovered her last season, they'll move on. New stars will rise, momentum will shift. That's how sports work. This is exactly why the WNBA must settle the labor situation quickly. A lockout would be catastrophic, especially now, with momentum they've never had before. The players deserve fair pay, but both sides must find a way to avoid blowing up everything they've built. The fact that Scott Agnes, who covers both the Pacers and the Fever, showed up to cover the golf event says everything. This wasn't basketball, but it was still newsworthy because Caitlin Clark draws attention no matter what she does. Not many athletes can turn a celebrity golf appearance into a legitimate media event, but Caitlin Clark absolutely can. The crowd showing up at 8:30 a.m. is especially wild. That's early even for committed golf fans. But these weren't golf fans, these were basketball fans showing up for one person. They didn't care about the rest of the event. They came for Caitlin, period. And this highlights just how rare her star power is. With all due respect, very few WNBA players could pull this kind of turnout for a non-basketball event. A handful of stars might pull a decent crowd, but hundreds, even thousands showing up. That's Caitlin-only territory. The LPGA probably loved this. Last year, they were constantly posting engagement spikes whenever Caitlin was even mentioned. They know she brings massive attention. The WNBA should be studying this and learning how to actually harness her star power. Instead, there's been this awkward tension, like the league can't decide whether to fully embrace her as the face of the WNBA or try to spread attention evenly. The result? Neither approach is working. The league is missing a huge opportunity. They aren't maximizing Caitlin's popularity, and they aren't elevating other players to her level either. Ironically, the WNBA has slid right back to where it was before Caitlin's final college season. Players arguing about pay, critics bringing up financial losses, and the same old narrative cycle repeating itself. That's exactly what she briefly pulled the league out of, and now we're back there, because the league hasn't done enough to keep the momentum alive. The golf tournament crowd represents the diehards, the ones who will show up no matter what. But the WNBA cannot rely solely on diehards. They need casual fans. They need storylines. They need content. A single golf event isn't enough to sustain interest for months. When next season finally arrives, what happens will be absolutely crucial. If Caitlin returns healthy and picks up where she left off, attention will explode again. But if she struggles, or if injuries pop up, or if a lockout interferes, that casual audience may not return. And rebuilding an audience is infinitely harder than keeping one. Her teammates being there also gave fans rare, fun behind-the-scenes content, Sophie, Lexi, and Caitlin all together in a relaxed environment. That kind of natural, human moment is exactly what fans love. The WNBA should be producing content like this year-round. The entire event proved one thing clearly: Caitlin Clark's appeal extends far beyond basketball. People genuinely care about what she does, whether it's sports, appearances, endorsements, or simple day-to-day activities. She's hit that rare level of celebrity where even non-basketball events become major moments. But celebrity status is fragile. It requires constant visibility and relevance. Golf tournaments help, but they're not a replacement for playing elite basketball. So yes, thousands of fans showed up at 8:30 in the morning to watch Caitlin Clark play golf, proving once again that her star power is unlike anything women's basketball has ever seen. The WNBA needs to take this seriously and figure out how to maintain momentum during the off-season.